Yay!
We're back.
Welcome.
It's
Aloha's.
what's up, Jim? How you doing?
All right. Welcome, everybody. Well, we're finally here. This has been a long time coming for a
Mr.
lot of
Nitcher?
reasons. Um, we all know who the guest is tonight, so I think that's goes without saying. Welcome, everybody. Who's our guest again?
His name's Chris.
Something. Yeah.
Chris
Chris
something. I think
Stangler.
Stangler, maybe? I
Yeah.
don't know.
All right, everybody. It's Chris Stangler. We know that.
Yes, we
He's going to be
100%.
talking to with us tonight about his upcoming Kansas City convention. Again, if you want to come out and hang out with us, there it is right there on the screen up on YouTube, Mid States Collectors Club 2525. Please give us a like, a subscribe, and a follow. We could always use that. Again, if you are looking for tickets, this is where you go to get those as well. So please hit those up if you're thinking about going. Chris has more information about that later in the show, so
hmm
please follow that. Well,
Mr. Nitcher, how you doing, man? I'm doing all right over here.
we do have a couple of things going on, don't we? We
Yeah.
got a couple of shows coming up here in the near future.
hmm
Um, obviously, we got our show in July. Tables are available if you want to go do that. It's pinned up to the top of the featured section. Please fill out the form, and we'll get you taken care of after
Most
that.
definitely.
Other than that, we've got, let me get over to our page here. What do we have in the upcoming schedule?
Well, June 14th, there's the diecast show up in Fremont. Um, Contact on that is Terry Bono if you need to get tables for that one. June 21st, we got the top of Iowa, Miss Barb, up there in Mason City, which is a great show.
Yep.
Um,
Then June 22nd is the Toy
oh,
Farmers show in Norfolk. There will be a few diecast folks there. It's a nice little show. It's a good mix of everything. And then June 28th, um, Carl Smith will be hosting his show. And then June 29th, the next day, Lincoln's Toy Show, not to be confused with Brad Beebe's toy show in Lincoln. This is William from Lincoln's Toy Show out in
up
the
in
Chicago area.
yeah, Lockport, Illinois. And then there's a really fun one that I'm really super looking forward to, and that is July 12th down in Gardner, Kansas for the Legends Tour stop. And that's honestly this. I don't see that. That's probably one of the highest. It's up there pretty quick. I mean, I'm looking forward for Chris's event definitely, and I'm definitely looking forward for the Gardner, Kansas stop because of the pure and simple fact that I have yet to do a Legends tour. Mr. Jones, how you doing tonight? I'm really looking forward to going to a Legends tour stop. So I'm excited to see everything that goes with that and the ins and outs and just to see what's going on. So
Yeah, definitely with all of that. So that's the upcomings going on here. We'll say hi to Mike and Jim. Watching guys from Nebraska talk to a Minnesota guy. Yep. Nitcher, how are you tonight? Also, the other big thing was ticket sales for LA went on today.
this is true.
So
And looked like some people struggled. Looks like a lot of people got through. So that's pretty
we'll talk.
cool.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. Maybe next week we'll talk about how that process went because it is a new process.
hmm
So I think it's time to bring our guest on, don't you?
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with bringing our guest on.
Okay, so without further delay, we're going to bring on Mr. Chris Stangler. How are you doing tonight, Chris? Thank you for coming on. We'll put you the man in the middle, so to speak.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Glad to be here and spend a little time with you guys this Thursday evening.
Well, we appreciate it a lot. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of like a who, what, when, where, and why?
Chris Stangler, born and raised New Prague, Minnesota. Lived in Minnesota my entire life. Never held a homestead outside of Minnesota. Um, Started a family when I was young, and got two boys, and now fast forward, married to Tami. She's got four kids, and we enjoy our lives together and just
Awesome.
enjoying
Very
life.
nice. Very nice.
That's awesome. Okay, so the first question of the night: how did you get started in the hobby?
So back in '91, um, I went to a show, if you remember, for the older crowd in Minnesota. It was called World of Wheels. It was up in St. Paul, and it's a full-size car show.
Mm-hmm.
So we went up there looking at the hot rods and whatnot, and I passed a vendor booth, and the guy was selling customized Hot Wheel cars. And I was like, this is pretty cool. I don't see these in the store, yada yada. And I bought, I talked to the guy that was selling them. He was the customizer of them, and I was just pretty intrigued with it. And went home. At the time, I had a '90s Camaro T-top, and Mattel didn't make the T-top. They only made the hard body or the full roof.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out and bought a Dremel and cut in my own T-tops, stripped it down, painted it red to match my car, and that was the first customized car that I did.
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, the World of Wheels is actually, that's just what they call that one, because we got that down in Omaha here too, and
Okay.
James says that they got it down there in KC. So
Yeah, I believe it was a Midwest thing here. I thought they stopped for a while and or changed names, but recently had come back. I don't follow it too much, but yeah, that's where I started back in the '90s.
Nice.
That pretty much takes care of the next question, because it was, how did you get started?
I was going to say, I was 11.
I wish I was 11. I'd be 10 years younger, but no, I was 21 years old at that time, and that's how I got started. Well, actually, so '91 is when I came across customized cars and did my own custom, right? But that's when my son was born in December, so that part of my hobby, collectibles type of deal, went on the back burner to help raise my firstborn.
There you go.
And I really didn't get back into it until 16 years ago, and I had come across a Camaro on eBay that was not a Mattel; it was a customized car. And it so happened it was a bingo themed black Camaro that was customized by Albert Avila and for Diecast Space and from the Las Vegas convention. And at that time, so that would have been like March, April is when I saw it, because their February convention, I believe the convention was February or early March. Yeah. And so that's how I found out about diecastspace.com, and I went to their website, I checked into tickets, and their next convention was down in Tennessee. And I just, that was my next stop. Loaded up the kids and went down to Tennessee, bought tickets to every event, wanted to get involved, see what it was all about. The charity auction, the special dinner. At that time, he was doing diecast Uno, diecast bingo, souvenir sales, and all that good stuff. So that's what got me back into it, and just started from there.
Awesome. Okay, first question from the night is from that Nitcher guy, and he says, "Where is that first car at right now?" Referring to that red Camaro.
Yeah, sadly, I don't know where that car is. Not in my possession. I cannot tell you where it went when it left my house, but that was the first custom I had done. I do think I'd have to double check, but I do believe I have the first custom car that I did to enter into a customs contest, which happened to be for diecastspace.com, and it was a dairy delivery. And back then I didn't have the white toner printer So it was on an inkjet, and so the car was white, so all the decal artwork would show up. But I believe I have that one. So,
Quick question here: would
yep.
you be able to recognize that Camaro if you saw it today?
Possibly, but there wasn't too many different traits to it that would be like, yep, that's mine, because of just cutting in the T-top roof. I changed out the wheels. I think the wheels came off the Duracell IROC Camaro, and then with that, I probably changed out the interior color from the gray that the donor car was the green. Yeah, that one there. Yep. I'm pretty sure that's what I used because I wasn't familiar with Real Riders and whatnot. And
yeah.
But that was the year that I did, I think later that year, for a short time, I had the 95 67 Camaro Super Treasure Hunt, or whatever it's called. And back then, I think I got yelled at by the wife because it was like $125 I paid for it, back in the early 90s. And but I got a little pat on the back, kind of, when I sold it for like two and a quarter. Like, hey, I didn't lose money on this transaction. So,
well,
if I knew then what I knew now, right?
Right?
Yeah. I know, like towards the end, before I finally quit because my hands just could not do it anymore, I started signing mine on the inside somewhere. So
sure,
mine are all tap and drill.
Okay.
So if you find one of mine that's signed, that's one of the last ones I did. So that's because I always wonder too, like where do they go once they leave your house, and who ends up with them?
Yep.
So
yeah.
Well, back in the early 90s, there wasn't much for social media, so
yeah,
you wouldn't know.
Yeah,
that's true.
Chris working paper pressure. Nice. Well, you definitely have a fan with green Porsche 1965. So
yeah.
Yeah. So going off of, I'm not sure who Green Porsche is for his real name, but going off of his comment, Troy Horn has claimed that the remodel of our house that he paid for the bedroom, bathroom, jacuzzi, walk-in shower remodel. That was his contribution to the remodel with all his purchases of the 83 Silverado customs that I've done for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Says so Mike, Ohio.
He's gonna sign the wall for us.
There you go. Green Porsche apparently is Mike from Ohio.
Mike from Ohio. Okay.
So it could be anyone. Mike's a pretty common name. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool. I paid for some of it.
I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.
Let's see. Oh, question from Mike Jones here. He says, if you could get a professional license to put on customs, would you? And if so, which sport?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to doing that if I got the clearance and the rights to do the sports trademarks or whatnot. But if my first gut reaction would be like the Vikings or a Minnesota-based team. But the sad thing is with anybody that follows sports and the Minnesota is we're lucky if we make the playoffs, but then we're first team out. So it's not like we got a whole lot of trophies to hang up on the wall. But being a Minnesota guy, I follow them.
So Nebraska doesn't have a team, so you're ahead of us. So
yeah,
sure.
Okay. Next question: what castings are the easiest, and which ones are the hardest to work with?
So if I identify a casting, the VW drag bus would be an easier one in reference to it's just 3 rectangle flat sides, 2 sides and a top, but just not much contour, curvage, whatever. So it's easy, it's just a simple landscape of a rectangle to fill the area, not too detailed of the decal cutting for going around the body lines and whatnot. And so if you look at the other version of that, the harder castings with all the contours and body lines, the first one that comes to mind is the 66 Batmobile. It's just because of the extreme highs of the body, the door line down the side and the wheel well.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the situation there for the decals.
I would have never thought the Batmobile, but yeah, because I've got a custom one from Mr. Walker over in the other room. So
yes, Johnny Hahn, he's my Camaro. He's one of my Camaro collectors. He's saying he's got close to 300. So I appreciate the support, Johnny.
Nitcher wants to know if there's one thing that Texas Roadhouse could do better to fix to serve in the restaurant. What would it be?
Such a random question.
He knows I like my Texas Roadhouse. It's usually one of our key stops when we head to out of state, any traveling for dinner locations. We're like, is there a Texas around? I do like their filet mignon. And it's a great atmosphere, and I don't know what it is. Obviously, they have a good business plan and motto, but they've got 20 extra staff members just randomly floating around waiting to take care of you, where you go to a lot of other restaurants and they're short staffed and they're shutting down early because they don't have the staff. So if you want to have good service, and yes, the food is good, Texas is a good place to go.
There you go. I like their rolls.
Yeah.
The rolls and the butter.
Yes. I like that honey butter.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Not good for you, but it tastes good.
No. Well, that's just it. If it tastes good and you really enjoy it, it's probably not good for you. So
true statement.
No, that's very, very true. We did switch logos. I forgot to do that a little bit late, but there you go. We are on Chris's logo now.
I was wondering. I was like, what are you doing?
All right. So the next question is, what is one misconception that is out there about you, and why is that incorrect?
Well, I think there's one major one that I see or hear about, and referenced or questioned or whatnot, is that I don't do my own work. It's so far from the truth. It's crazy. I mean, if you start at the beginning, 16 years ago, whatnot, when I started, from going to that Tennessee convention, learning the ins and outs and getting going. I mean, I made 5 cars and sold them, and then took that money. Then I made 10, and then I made 20, and then everything. But now fast forward. I mean, so you go for my first, couple hundred cars. I did everything from purchase the car to drill it apart, unpackage it, drill it, strip it, prime it, paint it, do the design of the car, print the decals, cut the decals, apply the decals, clear coat it, assemble, package, ship, sell it, ship it. 100%. There was, no one at my side or doing anything at that point, so that's true 100% me, right? Mm-hmm. And now you go there and you fast forward to now. I mean, I still physically touch every car at least a minimum of 3 times, if not 5, right? Just at the worst case scenario. But the majority is still 90%, if not 95% all me. I mean, I have, all my followers and collectors, I'm working so much, and Minnesota's not a great place to purchase castings, and the quantity of castings and the variety of castings that I need for my support collectors base that want certain castings. Mm-hmm. It's not around Minnesota. So I have a lot of people that they do hunting, and they'll be like, Chris, what castings are you looking for? And I'm like, this, and this. And they'll start collecting them. They'll build a box. They'll ship them to me. Right. So I don't do much hunting unless I'm at a convention. Obviously, any toy show I go to, every toy show I go to, every convention I go to, I will go room to room as much as I can. I'll walk the tables at the toy shows and buy castings off of the vendors that are there. Bundle, save shipping, all that good stuff. And then after that, it's, I'm the guy that's taking them out of the package. I'm the guy that's drilling them apart. I'm the guy that's stripping them, playing with the chemicals, the paint remover. I'm the guy that's got all the buckets of, 30 different castings, and each bucket has 2 to 5 different buckets for all the different parts. And then it's the process of what am I doing? Okay. So let's fast forward to one of your questions about, I have a monthly membership. Okay. So monthly membership, there's 12 different castings. Okay. So the Silverado, I'm doing 10. So I go to my buckets and I got to pull 10 of these, 5 of these, 3 of these, 10 of these, 20 of these for all the different castings and the quantities needed. Right. And then I'm the guy that goes in and primes them. I'm the guy that goes in and paints them. I'm the guy that goes and prints out, sits at the computer and makes the designs, creates the print sheets, prints out the decals. Luckily, my wife is cutting the decals for me, which allows me to just cover more of the other steps. So after she's done cutting them, then they go to our good friend Rachel, who is my full-time decaler, and she's decaling them. And I have a couple part-timers that help me out, my daughter-in-law and a friend. They also help when the demand is there. And then after that, they come right back to me. I'm the guy that puts them on the sticks and clear coats them. I'm the guy that's assembling them. I'm the guy that's putting them in the package. I'm the guy that's putting them on Facebook and trying to sell them, or putting them away waiting for a show, and then take them to the show. And it's me right in front of everybody at a toy show or my own convention that's, trying to sell them and get them to the collectors. So I can't do it all, but you know what? I never intended to do it all. I mean, well, back then I never thought I'd get to this point, right? So, but I got here, and I thank every collector as much as I can that purchases product from me or hunts castings for me, or spreads the word about my shows, or, anything that they do to help put my name out there or my product and say, hey, Chris is a good guy. Hey, Chris does good work. I appreciate it. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm fortunate enough to have been doing this for, 8 years now, 100% as my sole income. I mean, I live paycheck to paycheck, and my paychecks come from the collectors liking my product, purchasing my product, and then I put it right back into my business. I pay the bills to keep a roof over my head, electricity on the shop, food in my belly, and the rest goes back to the collectors, to the business, and to the collector to give them as much as I can for the value of their money.
Nice. Tami says Dedra opens the ones at convention. So
yeah, she does. Yes, that is her stress reliever. We were at Nationals, and Dedra and Tami were they went downtown for some reason, I don't remember, but they weren't at the Nationals, and I had a huge pile of inventory of castings from going room to room, and I was looking to start consolidating, ripping them out of the package to put them in hot cases to bring them home. And me and her husband Christopher started opening up some of them, and when she got back, she noticed that the pile was different, and she was not happy that we had opened up her cars, or my cars, but it was her job to rip them open.
Okay. So Jimmy again is asking, what's a piece of advice that you would give to someone that's starting out in the customizing?
Always ask questions. It all, it's kind of a double thing. If it's just for customizing for yourself, just do what you love. I mean, if you're into, Moon Eyes, just do the best you can with Moon Eyes and the castings, if it's Chevy or Ford or, what have you, or dioramas. If it's just for you, just do what you enjoy, and, however it turns out, it's your vision. Enjoy it. If you're looking at it as a potential sell a few, take them to shows, stuff like that, then pay attention to quality, consistency. Talk to the collectors, the people that you want to purchase your cars, see what they're into. I mean, I could go to the shop and make 1,000 Minnesota Vikings kick-ass cars, right? But I'm going to have 985 of them in inventory, because after the 15 people that want it get it, then it's a done deal, And that's and that's kind of why I have like 15 different castings in my monthly membership, or at my convention I probably have 50 different castings in my selection, because a little fact from the beginning, right? When I first started, my customizer name was Chris's Camaros, Chris's Custom Camaros, and my logo was a silhouette of a Camaro, and then it changed and had, instead of just Chris's Camaros with a silhouette of a Camaro, it turned to Chris's Camaros and without the silhouette. But anyway, it was more of a badge picture. But after I went to my first convention in Tennessee, which that's all I had M&M candy colored Camaros, the 67, the 85, the IROC, the 95 race Camaro, all different colors of M&M characters. And then I had 3 special 67 baggy cars. It was at that convention that I realized, there's more out there than people that just like Camaros.
Right.
So needless to say, when I went to that convention, let's just say I went there with 150 cars. I came home with probably 100 of them. But that's not bad to sell 33% at your first show. But that was the vibe I got from people that came in my room and didn't make a purchase. Was, you got any Mustangs? Got any Silverados? Got any drag buses? I'm like, no, dude. My name is Chris's Camaros. Come on.
Right.
So that quickly changed from Chris's Camaros to Chris's Customs.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good deal on the Camaros part, because
it's Ken's favorite casting. So
no. Mike Jones wants to know: have you considered doing some sort of e-commerce site versus listings on Facebook?
So this is a little. It's a good question. My wife and kids have talked to me about it, and they actually want me to revamp my website for that purpose. But as I was talking to them about it, so here's the deal. I'm already working 7 days a week, getting up at 3. I mean, I try to not get up and go to work until 5 o'clock, but for whatever reason, it was 2:15 and I was out of bed and at work from 2 to 9. I had to come home to try to get tickets for LA, and then back to work I went to pack cars for the convention here in 10 days. And 10, 12 days.
It's not like you're running out of time or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yes, I am running out of time. That's the problem.
I know, right?
But, so back to the question. It's like I'm stretched so thin with, doing my own monthly membership, my convention cars, chapter newsletter cars, different club cars, the Northeast Bash in Connecticut and New Hampshire, and there's a show in August in West Virginia that we're driving to. We're going to the Woodward Dream Cruise. Paslin has me commissioned for 200 cars every year, and they've been begging me to come out there. And we were supposed to go last year, and it just didn't happen. But we're like 99% there. So this year, so we're scheduled to go there this year in August.
A lot of cool.
So with all of those things, and it's like, yeah. So eBay, or not eBay, I don't do a whole lot on eBay, but so that's where I am right now, is on Facebook, right? So I do a run, my monthly memberships, the extra inventory. I do a posting. Anybody interested? Here's the price. Here's the car. Here's how many are available. And 9 out of 10 times they all sell out, and that's on to the next one, right?
It's one of those, if it ain't broke, why fix it kind of things.
Yeah. Yep. So doing an e-commerce site and whatnot, I would need more staff. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's just, I would just have to get myself set up, have a designated staff person, make sure the inventory goes there and not on Facebook first. And because otherwise you do a lot of work just to list 1 or 2 cars.
Mm-hmm.
So
sounds like a lot of extra work.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's something that we definitely talked about it though.
Okay. So who's been a major influence to you and your work?
Let me check my notes on what I wrote down the first time. Okay. So my notes say that the collectors, and it's true. Their passion for the hobby, let me go to Jim Ryder. He's a 50. He dabbles a little bit with the drag bus or the bone shaker, which is kind of his son's casting, but he's a 55 gasser and a 67 Camaro guy. So there's just one example. And Troy Horn, 83 Silverado, and Dedra with her drag bus, and the Bug, Christopher with dairy deliveries, Jim with drag buses and blown deliveries. It's just endless, right? So the collectors are my influence. It's like, like I said a little bit ago, if I just make Vikings cars or Kansas City Chiefs cars, I mean, come on, who's going to buy those, right?
Yeah.
But I got to make what the collectors want. So it's the right design, it's the right packaging, it's the right theme, the right casting. And so you talk about packaging. I put stuff in. I have people that collect it loose. I got people that collect in the mini cube. I got people collected in standard background blister cards. And I got the guys that like the 3D molds that I produce every now and then. So usually a lot, my monthly memberships this year are just in the cube or loose. But last year they were cubed or background carded. But when I do bigger runs or special designs, I did a collaboration with Brian Pope, and it was Pac-Man, and we did a 3D package with an actual arcade machine, and we did the cube with a little 3D printed character in it. So
those are cool.
It's all on the collector. It's what they want. I need to supply and offer what they want.
Yeah.
Seems legit.
Yeah. Jim, he must have missed that answer because that one's already been answered. The fast version is people and.
Yep, I have. People. Yeah, I have. I go to any show that I go to, I'll hunt the tables and get my standard castings, and then I have guys that hunt for me for the standard castings, and then some orders it's like, okay, this is what you want, like say a Porsche or Nissans or whatever. I'm like, I don't have them on hand. I'll do it for you, but you need to supply the casting. So, and rarely, if on a special order, I'll hit eBay and try to get the cheapest one I can, so that I can return the price of the product to the people for as cheap as I can.
There you go.
Yeah, we've had a run-in with that, haven't we?
Yes, you've helped me a few times.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah. I think I suffered for it a little bit later, but I made up for it.
Good.
Who do you look to for inspiration?
It kind of goes back to the collectors. I can make anything all day long, but I have the business, I have the building, I have the equipment, I have the castings, the supplies. That's my job. I can do it all day long, but if I don't make the right stuff and at the right price point, the right packaging, the right casting, and the right theme for the collectors to make the purchase, then I'm going to go punch a clock somewhere. So my inspiration truly comes from the collectors, and it's like, hey, can I get this type of design, or and I'm like, oh, that's it's a good idea. I mean, it's like there's so many things I can do, but it's like if you do the wrong one at the wrong time, then it's not as desirable as other ones that are popular at the moment.
And then you're sitting on them hoping that they sell eventually, and then
Yes,
it just takes forever.
Yep.
Okay, so Nitcher wants to know, you've helped out a lot of people. How does that help you, and why would you help someone to, quote, take your job?
So first, I have to be cautious of that a little bit, right? But bottom line is there's I don't believe I'm misspeaking when I say there's thousands of customizers out there, right? I mean, and when I say customizer, you're talking anything from a wheel swap to a basic paint job, add a tampo. There's hundreds of guys that sell decal sets on eBay or their own website or whatever. They're mass produced. I mean, you can buy the Candy Striper decal set, everywhere.
Yeah.
The Hot Wheel logo stuff everywhere. And there's plenty of people that have the equipment to print off their own decals, and they do take, that's their job, is they print off decals for people to do their own customs and all that good stuff, right? So when I started, that first convention I went to in Tennessee, leaving that convention, the next convention technically was in Canada, right? And the guy said, don't go there. It's a small show, blah, blah, blah. But you need to be at the one, for sure. Mark your calendar. You need to buy tickets and go to the next one. It was down in Texas, and it was called the Custom Con. That was the name of the convention. And it was for customizers. There was a seminar. They had a seminar down there with Paul Wooten and Tony SD Chop Shop. They gave a seminar on drilling cars apart and stripping the castings. Brian Pope was down there on designs and graphics, and Jimmy Boxman Chavez was down there on packaging. And so me and my son and stepdaughter went down there, and me and my stepdaughter was on the roof all weekend at the pool and watching the airplanes land, while me and Derek went to all the seminars with notebooks, and we wrote down everything. I mean, that was what we were there for, is they were giving the information, and we took the information gladly, asked questions. And at that point, I come home from the convention, and I bought a printer. I bought an air gun. I bought, a compressor. I bought a paint booth. I went on Toy Peddler, the TTP, and I was buying castings left and right, and just to stockpile, to start an inventory, to get ready to be prepared to do bigger runs or, different designs on castings. So they offered that, they put that convention on. The seminar guests willingly gave it out at no cost, no charge. And they knew at that point, you're per se giving up your secrets, right? You're helping out fellow customizers.
Yeah.
And so I returned that the best I can. I mean, it was handed over to me like, here's your information, do with it what you want, right? Yeah. And I did. I didn't turn back. That was my turning point. I came home from Texas, and it was no turning back. I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, sink or swim. And I think I'm a pretty good swimmer at this. So,
yeah.
Or if anything, you're at least still swimming. So
I can remember having a conversation similar to that with a couple other guys, and they just were like, well, if I tell everybody everything, then they'll just copy me, and that'll be that. And I'm like, yeah, but you do it your way, and they may take your process, but it may not come out the same way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you really don't have anything to lose about that.
Well, if you look at, I mean, you can look at so many different categories of customizing. It's like, okay, if you want to turn back go back to the beginning, who's the first guy to do a wheel swap, right? Okay, so he didn't patent it. So now the next guy does it. Does the first guy that does a wheel swap call him a copier and, hey, that's, you're taking my idea? Or the first guy that recreated a custom of, let's say, the Candy Striper 55 gasser. Well, that's Mattel's design. So now you just copied them. So there's, a very large percentage of customizers that are copiers, because you are taking finished designs and recreating your own version of it. If it's the same, let's say, Candy Striper design, but you put it on a Camaro versus the gasser, it's their concept, and that's your starting point, but you made it your own, like you're saying. So, and that's just it. There's so many different ways to go with it.
Okay, so Jim Whitver wants to know, how did you get involved in doing the newsletter car, and how long have you been doing it?
So Jimmy Garbachowski approached me at a convention and asked if I'd be interested in doing it, if I could show him some of my work. So I ran up to my room, grabbed him a couple of my customs so he could see my paint job and my clear coat and decal work or whatnot, and showed it to him. He's like, okay, this is, more than acceptable. Back then, so I've been doing it for 8 years, 8 or 8.5, give or take. The guy that was doing it for Jim, I believe he would paint them, and then Jim would send them off to the a pad printing company to put the graphics on, right? And then they would ship them back to Jim, and then Jimmy would put them in baggies, and they would be, all his newsletter cars were baggy cars until my second year with him, I think, when we converted to background cards, when we did the Dodge Demons.
That sounds about right.
Yep. So that's how I got into it. I was asked by Jimmy if I could handle it, if I, let me see your work. And we came to agreement on terms and whatnot. And that was at a nationals event. And, at that event, he agreed to, okay, you can do my next run, which was LA. And being my favorite casting, we did the 67 Camaro was my first car.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, speaking of conventions, I think this is a perfect chance to kind of segue into a few other questions. And the first one I have is, how did your custom convention come about?
So the custom convention would be 6 years ago now, would be the starting point of putting together the first year, right? Which the first year, it was named the first annual, but it was the 10th anniversary of CS Customs' first annual convention. So celebrating 10 years of customizing at the same time of, hey, this is my first convention to celebrate 10 years. And we did it down in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And you're like, well, you're probably thinking, okay, you're in Minnesota. Why are you doing a convention down in Tennessee, right? So my first convention I went to that I talked about earlier was, it was in Nashville, Tennessee. So I tried to go back to where I started, right? I went to my first convention in Nashville, Tennessee. Let me have my first convention in Tennessee. I actually tried going to the same hotel. But, nope, my pockets weren't deep enough, and that hotel was a little expensive. Nashville was a little bit out of my price point. So I'm like, let's just stay in the area and see what else is out there. And that's where I ended up with the Embassy Suites in Murfreesboro.
Nice. Makes sense.
So what can you tell us about this year's convention? And then I have a link posted up here that for everybody to see. And if you could tell us about that too.
Sure. So if you see behind me, if you're wondering what that is, so that's the convention logo, 5th anniversary, Kansas City, Missouri there. Those are all the sponsors, right? So I think I didn't take a count before I went online here, but I think there's like 40 sponsors, right? So all of those are dedicated supporters of CS Customs. I mean, these guys are anything from they just buy my product and they want to be part of it to being sponsoring events, right? We have this year's event, we have like 8 different sponsors that are supplying or helping supply a car that will go to the customers at no charge. So you make a purchase at the event, let's just say bingo. If you're going to play bingo, you're making your purchase, you're claiming, let's just say the 83 Silverado, and that's customized by me, right? But on top of that, the sponsor, there is a sponsor for bingo, and that person did a run of cars, and everybody that pays to play bingo gets a car that's, most of them are customized by different people. So that there's another opportunity of me bringing other customizers work into the world, or just helping spread them around through my event. Like Brian Nitcher and BJS Customs, that's one of the sponsors. So they did a run of 50 cars and for one of the events, so you can get one of their cars on top of my car at the convention. And there, like I said, there's like 8 of them. I mean, Jim Ryder and Cheryl Ryder are sponsoring the War Games. Charles Chu and Donna Chu are sponsoring the Friday night dinner. We even got you guys and the Mid-States car right here. So
what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is your mug on here.
What?
Look at it.
Well, how did this? Wait a minute. This is breaking news.
Guys.
It's not really breaking news, but
Okay, yeah, we've kept this under wraps for quite a while.
Yep.
We've done good at it too.
Yeah, amazingly. So yeah, the 500E is going to be available at the podcast.
Yep.
And,
so you want to put the schedule up?
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's get into doing that. Let's see if this.
So you guys are slotted for Friday from 3 to 5 to do a live podcast.
We are
right there. Yeah. So Friday, the 13th, perfect day for Brent.
It is my favorite day. So yeah, I'm very happy.
So anybody that wants to come be a guest with us, we do have some people lined up, and we can talk about that. Is that all right, Chris?
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Okay, so obviously you and Tami are guests going to be on for a little bit.
Yep.
And we have Michael Geralda.
Yep. He's one of the Saturday night dinner guests.
Yep. So, and Peter Kistler from the newsletter are going to both be on.
Yep.
I don't know how long, but we've got questions prepared for them. I think Mr. Nitcher and Miss Rainey are going to be there. I think Buck Shea from Capital City wanted to come on. Andrew Bates from MoCan / Capital City is going to be there as well. We'd like for Miss Kim Locke to come on and say hi. Whether or not she will do it, I don't know. But if you come on the show and talk to us for a little bit, what's this red carpet thing I keep hearing about too?
So yes, we're giving you center stage to be treated like royalty, and for all the guests that come up to be on your podcast to be treated like royalty. We have a red carpet. We have the stanchions or the red velvet ropes or whatever Tami ended up buying. So yeah, when you head towards the registration ballroom, you're going to see the red carpet, and you'll know exactly what's going on because it'll be front and center. You guys will be all lit up.
Heck yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm definitely excited about it. It's going to be a good. It's going to be a good one. We have done several hour shows before, but we've never done a 2-hour live in-person show before. So we've got a couple of kinks to work out, but we'll definitely be figuring out there. Yeah, Corey, you got to come down, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, Corey was actually, speaking of Corey, he was part of my first convention. I had him, commissioned him. I don't remember all the details, how we did it all, but he actually did up some trophies and then a bunch of 5-gallon oil can garbage cans, or turned the oil cans into a garbage can. And he had painted them all for me. Oh my God, I think I had like 20 or 30 of them, anywhere from our cornhole design to the convention logo to different cars on each one. Yep, there's one there. So yeah, Corey does great work, and
Corey does amazing work.
Yeah, and again, that's just another thing that's one of the things I enjoy about my convention. It is a big group of positive energy, friendly people. No bullshit.
Language.
Everybody's having a great time. And we're all in it together, right? We're all here to help each other out.
We're all here for these toy little
Yes,
little toy
it all
cars.
Begins with the cars.
Yeah, it's all about the cars. And it doesn't matter, if it's a different brand. It can be anything. We're in this hobby because we love the toy cars.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so we kind of got off track a little bit, but we're talking about the schedule here.
Yep.
Obviously, we're from 3 to 5. What else is going on?
Yeah, so if we back up just a hair, it's not on the schedule because it's a pre-event. On Wednesday night, anybody that's in the area, I had it on the website for a barbecue dinner at Jack Stack's barbecue shop. Diecast and food, right? So we got a barbecue buffet. You get one car customized, and it was all about having fun, having a good time. I mean, I think there's 50 people signed up right now, so It's gonna be a good evening, barbecue buffet, getting some diecast, and just socializing with everybody, just to get the ball started before we open the doors on Thursday night for the schedule.
Yeah.
So moving to Thursday, right? So you got 4 to 7 is the event, and then we kick into Tami, and the Divas are putting on their first gathering. So any of the ladies that want to participate, this is where the first release will be of actually a car-tuned Diva-themed custom. And she's got plenty of Diva swag. And Tami actually, I don't have one with me. I don't want to ruin the surprise. But Tami actually did her own, or not her own, but she did her first design. She's like, I want to bring something, I want to design my own car, right? So she designed it up. I converted it into my programming and showed it to her. She's like, move this, do this. I'm like, good God, it's just a car, right?
But they got to look right. But they got to look right. So I get it.
So she got it where she wanted it, and we took it to, the rest is history. It's they're Rachel decaled them. They're assembled. They're packaged. They're ready for the show. So Tami's first release will be available Thursday night for the ladies only on Thursday night, and then anything that might not sell after that event will be available for anybody the rest of the weekend in the registration room.
Nice.
Yep. And then we got good games on Friday. First is the Texas Hold'em poker tournament put on by Aaron Mills in Greater Oklahoma. Aaron Mills is the Greater Oklahoma, and then Kim Locke and Mike are sponsoring. So that's where one of the cars will be. And then we got you guys' podcast. And then we have something that transformed from first convention to this convention is when I first started, we did Friday night social gathering, right? And birthday celebration for me. Like I was throwing my own birthday party because my birthday is June 16th.
No.
And so the first event, there was Ralph and the guys brought cake and cupcakes, and then we ordered some hors d'oeuvres, right? And the food went pretty quick. And then the second year, I'm like, I better up this. So I basically doubled or tripled it, and the food still went pretty quick. And then the third year, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do a buffet. And this is all, this is all on my dime, to give back to the customers. And I did a buffet style. I thought I ordered enough food, but I did a glitch, and I thought I ordered enough food for 150 people, but the first 50 people all took a slab of prime rib, turkey, and ham. So now all 3 selections are gone, and there's still 100 people that want some food. So the cooks went in the back and whipped up a bunch of stuff, and everybody got food, but a little learning experience for me. And then last year, same thing. We did buffet, but I made sure my process was better, and everybody had more than enough food. There was leftover seconds and thirds for some people. So, and again, so this year, same thing. Anybody with a paid registration ticket, $30 for food or 50 with a card and goodie bag, I'm buying your dinner Friday night. So it's a buffet style setup from 5 to 7. It's going to be a good time. And then we got war games, which is always a fun time. And then Bruno's bringing his downhill track. We got a downhill money race. You buy the casting there. This year it's a 55 gasser. 2/3 of the money or 1/3 of the money goes to a charity. I don't remember the breakdown off the top of my head, but top 3 places, everybody gets to keep their car. Top 3 places get money and a trophy.
There you go.
Saturday, we got great games with Corno, Uno, Bingo, a lot of interaction with the people, the celebrity dinner Friday night, Saturday night. And then we have a downhill race with the clubs, a club challenge. So anybody that is representing a club, make sure you join us for that. There's trophies and prizes for that as well. We have a special sale Saturday morning, 9 a.m. I have my first collaboration with Larry Wood. I told him what casting I would like, and he designed it up. I changed it a couple times. He finalized it. We got it into production. I think it turned out really good. Only a couple people have seen it, and they're asking me for a full set. So it should be a good response on Saturday morning with the unveiling of it.
Nice.
Yeah. So good stuff. And then Sunday's the toy show, free to the public. Anybody can come in. We'll have raffle drawing. Everybody that enters gets a raffle ticket, and we'll do a raffle every 10 to 15 minutes at maximum to give away a free car until we close the doors.
Very
nice.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah. All I'm going to say is Capital City's going down.
Right.
Mid-States is going to rock that. Now watch us get blown out in the first race.
Yeah, we'll lose now. Thanks.
Hey, don't forget about Barb and the Iowa.
Oh yeah, got them Iowa folks coming down.
We got Northern Iowa,
Yeah. And to answer Mr. Bill Smith's question super quick, he did miss the beginning of this video, and yes, they all do say on the YouTube page, and you'll be able to find them there. So you'll be able to watch it from its beginning in its entirety.
Yeah. So if you want to go, just go to that page right there, and you can watch them from the beginning. Now, Chris, if you want to tell folks real quick, is there still time to get tickets? And if so, where do they go?
Yep. Okay. So the hotel room discount is locked out. So you have to you're at the mercy of whatever the current price is with the hotel. Unless you have a rewards program, you might be able to get it at a decent price. So that part's done with me anyway. But right there on the screen there is www.chrisstanglerscustoms.com is the website. Tickets are available. We're going to shut the website down tomorrow night just because we got to get everything tallied up and sent to the printing company to get our lanyards made and all of our event tickets and whatnot. So if you go there by Friday night, you're good. If you miss it and the website's shut down, there'll be a note on there that says contact me directly and I can take care of your ticket needs. Or you can just wait and show up at the convention anytime, Thursday to Sunday, and get in with what you can based on the day you arrive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And just as a reminder, those who, to get our wonderful Mercedes.
Yep.
Let's get this. Hold on. Let's do that. Let's make that a little bit bigger. To get the Mercedes, you got to come on the show. Come say hi. That's the best way to get it.
Nice.
Yeah. So come say hi. Bill would love to have you on just since you're coming from Idaho. That's so awesome. Yeah, Rainey, it's on like Donkey Kong.
And without giving away the number, there's a few. So.
Yes, we made a few of those.
Yeah. So again, if you want tickets, there's the link. Go in there. That's up till Friday night. After that, get in touch with Chris directly.
Yep.
Okay. So awesome stuff.
I don't know, Rainey. We'll try. Rainey wants
us to. Well, she's got to come on.
Yeah.
Here
we go.
Where would you like the direction of your convention to go, or would you like it, or how would you like it to grow?
I was debating this one with Tami. It's obviously growth is a good thing, right? And with growth is challenges or obstacles. We're already, the first year was great. It was more than I expected. The response, people lined outside the door waiting to get in to be the first, those first, 30, 40 that were in line to go through and pick up cars. Was awesome, right? And you just learned from any little mistakes, but it really wasn't much of any issues at the convention. And every year we just learn and tweak a little thing here and there to just make it better for everybody, right? Seeing 200 plus people the last 2 years, it was like 120 the first year, 140, 150, and then the next year, and then just at 200, and then 225 ish, not counting the Sunday toy show people for the fourth year. I'm already doing 7 days a week. So, which I love it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not complaining whatsoever. I mean, I love my job. I love my life. And I just thank all the collectors and the supporters to allow me to be able to do this. Right. So the direction it's going, it's slowly moving up is great. How much more number wise I would want to take on, whatever comes my way, I'll adjust either way. Right. If we get more people, I'll make it work. Everyone's going to get the value out of their money. We're going to do the best we can so that, everybody's limited to so much vacation time a year, so much, so much spending money, and the distance, right? Traveling distance. I mean, I got people, we had Justin O'Neill come the first year from Australia, and head back. So
nice.
That was awesome, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. Hudson is also from overseas, and he was there, I think, the second year, and he's planning on being here this year. So nice. He's coming from overseas again. So that's just crazy that people will travel that far. And Bob Fox, from Seattle, and T-Cat from East Coast, and Phil and all those guys, everyone's coming from all over the place, and it's great. I mean, I never expected it. And, I tried to put it in an area where everybody takes on a little bit of a drive, right? I mean, Tennessee was a 13-hour drive for me. So, I mean, there was plenty of people that were in the Tennessee area that they did, I put it in your in your backyard. So I try to bring it to where the collectors are and just have a great time. So
nice.
Yeah. Nice. So I'll take it whichever way it goes. If it gets more people, it gets less. I'll just make sure no matter who shows up, that they enjoyed their time and their money was well spent, and they had nothing but laughs and good memories to take back with them, and maybe a few custom cars.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect. And I had told Bill that we were going to be outside the registration room. Is that still correct? Or is
the bathroom is right outside the registration room, so that's where.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. It seems legit.
No.
I got it.
No, you'll be right outside the registration room. Yes, you'll be all set up.
Nice.
Okay, perfect. All right. Would you like to work with a different customizer to do a collab together? I know you had mentioned working with Brian Pope on something. Is there anybody else, or is there something else in the works that we don't know about?
Well, so yeah, so the last one that's been officially released and the cars are sold was kind of a farewell. Hey, Dedra. Watch
Teacher
out,
pops
man,
in.
they're gonna rip cars open. Was a kind of a farewell collaboration with Brian, right? So due to his health and his schedule and his path in life, he has put up the airbrush and he has done customizing cars. So that was a great honor to do a collaboration with him and be in at nationals together to release it. And the response was overwhelming. I made more cars than I wanted to, but you know what? The collectors asked for it. They asked for a different color. They asked for different castings, and we didn't get everybody's casting done, but we did go from like the original 5 castings we wanted to end up doing like 12 or 13 different castings. So
nice.
The collectors asked for it and we delivered. So that was the last one, current one to release. I just talked about the new one that's under wraps that no one has seen yet. So what a great honor for me to have Larry Wood, Mr. Hot Wheel, work with me, do a design for me. And I'm still on the fence. It's like, so I have the drawing, his actual drawing of the concept and everything, and it's in the other room. I'd show you, but I can't let the cat out of the bag yet. So it's like, what do I do with that?
You got like 14 days till that thing gets dropped. I think you can make it. If you can't make it 2 weeks, then you don't get to know.
You could always drop it on the show. I mean, you never know.
Well, if Tami brings it out, we'll see.
No. I would actually prefer not to know because it's just like going to nationals. I don't want to know what the cars are before we get there.
Yep.
It's getting harder and harder to keep those secrets. So
yeah, social media makes it hard for that to happen.
Oh, 100%.
With all the people that have their hands on them. Yeah. Brian.
Who would you like to work with next if you had the choice?
Oh, I had a conversation with right off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody just because there's so many out there. I mean, there's a lot of great customizers out there and with such different skill levels than me. I mean, the word customizer is kind of vague when there's people that do, like I said, the wheel swaps, they do the paint, they do the stretching and chopping and, the kits and whatnot. There's just so many different levels. And then you got customizers that are into full production, like Cato House. I mean, it was all customized stuff. And then now they have a company that's, doing it, and he's creating the custom and then producing it. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
I can't drop a name right now off the top of my head, but I've worked with a lot. I mean, I've done, different levels of collaborations with probably 10, 12 different customizers. And, some of them aren't even customizers. I've done special projects for individuals because it was their vision, and I've probably done 100 or 200 of those. And, those are as simple as a wedding announcement or a birth of a child. I make a dairy delivery with it's a boy, it's a girl, with little pacifiers and stuff on it for pink and blue. And, after the child is born, you send me the information and we put their name, the date, the weight, the height, all of that on the top of the dairy. And there's a baby graphic that goes on the side inside the cube. So that's a collaboration with a client that wants their vehicle their way, So I've got, like I said, I've got hundreds of those, which, those mean a lot to me because they're coming to me. Yep. Jim Whitfer, his 50th birthday gasser I did for him. And then I did a blown delivery for his son. So just a couple. And I had the honor of doing a thank you set for Barb Robles for working with the Des Moines Club. And that meant a lot to me that they came to me and asked me to be part of it. And I believe she liked it, and it's in her possession. And
it's very nice.
It means a lot to me to do that stuff for people.
Yeah.
And there might be is all I'm going to say. There might be something else in one of these packages at the convention, but the background card stays the same. So I don't know what it is. Well, I do, but you don't. So there might be a couple. You might not want to know. You might not want to.
Now I'm worried.
Oh, Lord. What did Barb?
Yeah, right. Barb did something. That's okay, though, because it'll be epic, whatever it will be.
Now, bring up the car again, because there is something else I want to point out on the car. And this gets into the last. This is not the last question, but we're just going to get into the last question we always ask.
Yep.
Now, what you're seeing right now, folks, is the incorrect way to face a car.
No, that's the correct way.
As you all know, we like to ask this question a lot. Which way do you face your car? So half of the cars are going to be faced like that, and the other half of the cars are going to be faced the opposite direction.
We know which one's going to sell out first. So.
Mine.
No. Oh, Rachel says she
knows.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
She knows. Okay.
Yeah,
this is fair. It's fair. I mean, we teased poor Dedra unmercifully. She was on with cars being open. Okay, let's get back into our regularly scheduled program. What are some of the challenges that you face when you're putting this show together? I heard that in the background.
I just heard laughing from the background.
So this is, God's honest truth. I care so much for the collectors that, like I said, that come to the show, right? Like I said, you have so limited time, vacation, money, travel time, whatever. I want you to get the most for your money. I try to offer the most cars, food, experiences, opportunities at the best price I can. So with that, my obstacle is to continue to offer that, to continue to succeed with that offering. And so a side twist or the ending of the convention is the Sunday toy show, right? So the locals, they know of the show, and a lot of them do come in, they go room to room, right? So they see an opportunity to purchase or shop and mingle Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, then the Sunday toy show, they don't need to go to that because they're on their way home because they already did the room to room. Mm-hmm. But it's still a 5-hour event, and there's people that don't do the hotel room to room setup, and they only come to try to sell their product on Sunday at the toy show. So that's one of the struggles I have, especially I'm up here and the show is in KC. And I mean, I use all the people that I can. And yes, time is a big hurdle, Jim, to advertise, so it's all the advertising and giving, letting people know of what to expect and, enticing them to, come spend a few hours with me and Tami in the show and all of our colleagues that are already here, come browse the toy show tables, check out my souvenir stuff, mix, mingle, say hi, all that, so that's one of my biggest hurdles is to make sure that everybody that invests anywhere from the $30 ticket or just doing the toy show, a couple tables for $50 and you get your free car, it's right there. $25, it's a toy show table. You buy 2, I'm giving you a customized car. So, right there, I'm kind of like giving you almost all of the value of all your money back if you find my custom to have a, $50 value, just to help offset your costs, right? to give you, if you collect it, great. If you don't, sell it, trade it, flip it to, help recover some cost. So that's one of my biggest challenges is making sure that everybody, whatever they invest in me is worth their time, worth their money, and a good memory to be had, and come back the next year.
Nice.
Awesome.
I like Dedra's answer to that question. What's your biggest struggle? She said dealing with herself and Tami. So.
And Brian concurred.
But he's like, I didn't say that. So.
No, not at all.
Yeah, exactly. She's already, these two are the biggest instigators. It's crazy. I don't know how
maybe
they
that's,
get anything done.
Maybe that's where that laugh come back. Do you keep any of your builds like for historical purposes, or do you just say let it rip and that's it?
So I did have like my biggest, not value, not monetary value, but I was collecting the newsletter sets. I had like 5 or 6 sets, that the first 5 or 6 that I did before we went to the background cards, they were in the baggies, and I put them in a shadow box and whatnot, and had them on my wall at my shop. And then I had the Dodge Demons, and the background cards were up there. But so I don't have those, but the reason I don't have those is really I put them in a collector's hand that cherished them more than I do. And it's not that I don't cherish my own work, but I took the money they offered and I put it back into the business to give it right back to the collectors. I mean, I do have a handful of pieces. I'm looking at the back wall. There's about 25 on a wooden shelf that my buddy Dennis Wood made for me down in Oklahoma. And then Tammy's got about 10 to 15 pieces. Couple of them are Kansas City. I mean, I should strip them and redo them, but she seems to like them. So, there's a few. We have the Diva. We have one of each of the Divas that we've released. So I think I'll continue to keep those. That's more for her, but also a memory of me of what we started with, bringing something for the diecast divas, and getting the ladies more involved or appreciating them for the work that they do behind the scenes or alongside of us. So I do have those.
I like Bill Smith's question here. He says, I want to see all of the Chris Stangler customs in a book with pictures.
That
would be cool. I like my books.
So one example, just a quick down memory lane was, sadly, this memory lane was from when a drag bus collector, a friend of mine, passed away. So another collector had all of his product to sell to get the funds to his wife, right? And so I was at Nationals, and I was in the hotel room, and laying on the bed was, oh my God, there was like 100 or 150 of my drag buses. And it was all from, so it would have been 10 years ago. And then probably as early as 3 years ago when I saw it last year or the year before. And it was like, oh my God, I don't remember that one. It's like, oh, I loved that one. I'm like, so that memory lane for me was awesome, right?
Yeah.
And I could only imagine, like, so if I look to do a book of cars or whatnot, like, so I know I'm going to visit Troy Horn to get pictures of every Silverado that I've done. I know I'm going down to see Jim West. He's got like 700 of my drag buses under lock and key and heavy security. So,
wow,
think twice about breaking into his place, but to have that, to show that much support for following my product and putting it on display so that you enjoy it, and Jim and Cheryl Ryder, with the Gassers, the Camaros, Paul Barron has a lot of my Camaros, and Larry Fanning, he's my main Corvette guy, and Freddie Wonder and the motorhomes. Yeah, so I might have to go on tour to stop at everybody's house and take pictures of all the different casting specifics and put something together, because it's crazy.
It would be neat to see something like that.
Yeah.
True story.
Okay, so moving on, we only have 2 more questions unless somebody else pops something up here.
Sure.
Have you ever used AI or 3D printing for your customs, or are you just strictly old school and strip, paint, chop, and redo?
So AI, I've tried. Barb showed me a couple of things that she's done on AI for creating logos or flyers and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I tried, I put a couple things in there, and it's like, it didn't get me what I wanted, but based on trademark stuff, certain logos or whatever got distorted or missing letters and whatnot. But so it wasn't anything that I couldn't use without putting it back into my program and then fixing it, tweaking it, whatever. But so I've looked at it, right? But I've never used anything from AI. 3D printing, I don't have a 3D printer, but I know a few people that do. And I've used, like the Pac-Man release with Brian Pope. He had a colleague that printed off the Pac-Man characters and the Ghost character and Miss Pac-Man. And our next game that we're going to do is Donkey Kong. So it's pretty cool. We got the little characters already made, and it's awesome.
Nice. Very nice.
And then I've bought small trinkets to put inside of cubes in the past. I actually did a monthly membership, my first year monthly membership. I drawn a blank on the year, but it's got to be 10 years now. And it was a Calendar Girl series. So my designer that I used for this to bring this style to life, every month the girl was named a different name based on the holiday and in a different pose, and she was on the vehicles and other attributes all over the vehicle. And then inside the cube there was a mini trinket. So like for the Easter one, she was wearing Easter ears and had a basket with eggs. And then in the cube was a little Easter basket with eggs. So it wasn't 3D printed, but I mean, like I said, it was 8-10 years ago. So there wasn't a whole lot available in the printing world. So that was going to Joann's or Michael's or on the hobby shops that had the miniature stuff and seeing what would work.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay, last question for the night. We kind of hinted at it already, but which way do you face your loose cars, if you have any? Driver side showing or passenger side showing?
So a percentage wise, I'm going to say passenger side showing, higher percentage. Lower percentages to the right, and a little lower percentage than that would be straightforward.
Yeah.
And those would be ones that would be loose, but they're in a display case or a 3 or 4 car set. So they're arranged.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got one left, one right, one going straight kind of thing.
Yep.
I get you. That's another win. That's another win for me. So
yes, it is.
It's like 65-3 at this point. So
yeah.
We really should have kept the clicker.
Well, you're above 0. I mean, come on, you're above 0. That's always good.
Oh yeah. I'm way above 0.
All right. So before we wrap things up here tonight, we'll bring up the schedule. Give one more little promo for the show. Any important information you want to share, go for it now as we've got the schedule up.
Yep. So if you can get to the website before tomorrow evening, if it's still live, you can pick up your tickets there. If you get there and it's locked out, there'll be a note on there that says it's locked out. Contact me directly. Or just show up at the show. The ladies will take care of you at the registration area and walk you through everything. You have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be there floating around always willing to help. I'm actually going to do a live once we set up Thursday morning. I will do a live video and walk through the registration room and kind of show you stage by stage where, what's going on, what you're going to see when you walk in the door. There's so much going on. I mean, we have a quick wraparound. We have a Plinko game. We're giving you 2 Plinko chips. You're going to win CS cash, spending cash right then and there for, just to get you intrigued into buying something. We got registration. We got goodie bags sponsored by Capital City. We got a few miscellaneous items for sale. Then you wrap into the souvenir sales. We have the special sale with Michael Geralda. Saturday morning, we got the Larry Wood sale. We have a spinner wheel with lower production number, higher value cars, but you get spinner wheel opportunity to try to win free ones. Nice. Our candy themed design this year is cotton candy. Chris and Tami's Cotton Candy Emporium. So all the cars are purple and pink hydrochrome. You pick your car you want. It's a set price, but we're going to give you a quarter, stick it in the machine. Whatever color gumball comes out, your price stays the same, or it drops $5, $10, $15, $20, or even you get a free car.
Oh, nice.
We have the Diva diamond ring toss. Buy a car, get rings to toss, and if you land on CS cash or land on a diamond and get a free car. We have a skee ball game and challenge. You buy a car, you roll the 9 skee ball balls. We document your score. The 10 high scorers will have a roll off on Saturday afternoon. You get CS cash during gameplay if you get a medium to high score. And you can win if you get a perfect score, you get a 1-of-1 Evo. We have a customs contest sponsored by All Things Custom with Ronnie Wisdom. We have a coloring contest with trophies and plaques. We got the Texas Hold'em. We got poker, Uno, cornhole, bingo, downhill racing, cars everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like if you can't find something to do, you ain't trying.
Exactly. And then you got room to room. All
3 days.
All 3 days. If their room we'll have an easel with people can put their room numbers on. And if their door is open, you're welcome to go into their room and do some shopping and see what they have to sell. So I support it. And they're investing their time and energy at my show to be there as a supporter and a sponsor and spend their time with me. I encourage people to come in all weekend long. If you don't even want to participate in my event, come to the hotel, go room to room and support the people that are set it up in their hotel room to offer product for sale. So come one, come all.
There you go.
Nice.
Definitely
and again,
like a good time.
I'm going to take this down here. And go back to here again. If you want to be on the live show Friday afternoon,
get one of these
sweet little Mercedes, you got to come on the show. So that's all that we have for tonight. We'd like to thank our guest, Chris Stangler, for being on and helping to do his Kansas City Diecast Convention custom show. And again, if you want tickets, go to the website. If you miss the website, reach out to Chris directly. And that's all we got for the night. Chris, don't hang up once we're done.
Yep.
And then thank you, everybody. We will see you in the next couple of weeks, either here or out at a show somewhere.
14 days to the show.
Yep. As always, be kind to each other out there. Have fun. And share your love for Diecast. Good night, everybody.
Good night.